Yo, yo, yo. Happy Thursday. Good afternoon or good morning or night whenever you're listening to this podcast. This is Joe Roscoe, co-host of Move Fast, Lift Heavy. Got a special guest today. Really hype about this. But before we jump into that, don't forget about our online training, Move Fast, Lift Heavy. You can check out on our Instagram at Move Fast, Lift Heavy, or you can go to our website, movefastliftheavy.com. Christian Harris, CrossFit Games athlete, founder of Move Fast, is just slaying us on the daily. We're putting that work in with him, and it's been going well. Got a lot of drops coming up. Christian can talk to us about that. And other than that, I'm just super excited for this. So let's just jump into it. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's bring on a man that stands 6'1", weighing in at 202 or 203 pounds, depending on how much he sweats during his monostructural work every morning. A man with a full-size beard, with blonde tips that make any Hollywood celebrity jealous out of their mind. A man that has a French bulldog that attacks seamless delivery order guys. A man who moves fast and lifts heavy, Christian Harris. Welcome to the podcast.
Yo, that was the best one yet.
Yes. Did you actually hear it? Was my internet okay, or was I cutting out like a madman?
No, you were good. You were good today.
Oh, thank God. Everyone that's a full-time weekly listener, thank you so much. Subscribe, rate, like the podcast. And I apologize for my shoddy internet. I'm in a 32-story apartment in Miami, and there's thousands of people tapping into Wi-Fi, just screwing me out of my mind with this Wi-Fi connection. So I'm so sorry to everyone if that's been annoying, but hopefully it's good to go for this episode today.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. We only do this because of y'all. So if you can,
I just jinxed it. Speaking of bad internet.
See, there you go.
Okay, we're back. Are you there?
I'm here.
I just jinxed us like a fool. But what Christian was saying, I definitely echo that. Thank you, everyone. Been getting some like awesome feedback. Even like strangers saying, "Oh yeah, I listened to this Move Fast thing," and we're like, "Oh, that's ours. That's our podcast." So that's really cool. Appreciate that. Christian, we got a couple drops coming. Why don't you tell us about the drops, and then we're going to bring on our guest in just a sec.
Yeah, for sure. On Monday, you guys can check out our Thank You for Your Service drop. It's just a quick strike. We're doing one long sleeve military inspired top to pay homage to the servicemen and women. I had the Spartan Games this past week, and I was definitely inspired by, the special warfare officers that were there. Hearing their stories and just getting to know those guys, it really played a big part in this next drop coming up. Then we've got our Thankful collection, and that'll be followed by the Fitness and Fellowship. So a couple drops coming up. Keep your eyes tuned and peeled on the gram. Also go to the website and, subscribe. You'll stay updated. You'll be the first to be in the know.
Cool. All right, let's do the thing. Let's bring on this fit, just animal of an athlete here. Go for it.
Yeah, so our next guest, you've probably seen him all over at the CrossFit Games. He's CrossFit Games contender every year. He's been very close to winning the entire thing.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
I'm rooting for him this year.
Me too.
Let's bring out my man from the 305, Mr. Noah Ohlsen.
Hey!
What's up, gentlemen?
Flex on them. What's up?
Man, Joe, I was hoping for one of those intros that you gave Chris. 6'1", 200 pounds.
All right.
Come on,
You're out of here. All right, let's bring on our guest. Standing at a height I don't know because I don't know him well like that. But if I were to guess his weight, he's been posting about it online. I think he got under, I don't know if he hit 200 or not, but a chiseled, we'll say I'm going to guess 191. A savage of a man, a dog owner to a cute gym dog named Max. A man who lives in Miami but never goes clubbing. A man who's working on a new house with guys walking by his window and goggle marks on his face. A man that will win the CrossFit Games in 2022, predicted by none other than myself, Joe Roscoe. A man named Noah Ohlsen.
That's more like it. Let's go. Love it. I appreciate that. It's 5'7" and like 182 this morning, by the way.
Damn,
oh, okay.
182.
Slim pickings.
Wait,
that's light. That's light,
so what'd
bro.
you drop? 20 pounds?
Man, it's been a little different. There was one point post games this year where I stepped on the scale after some indulging, and I was about 208.
Oh,
and I'm down to 182. So it's been like 25 pounds. I think a lot of it was inflammation, some creatine, water weight, some of that indulgence. But it just felt like time to slim it down a little bit and see what happens.
So what inspired your weight loss?
You know, it's something that I don't really pay much attention to throughout the season competitively. Like, it's more about making sure I hit my macros and I'm well fueled than being a particular weight. But getting home from the games this year and stepping on the scale and seeing that like 205, 208, that's way heavier than I'm used to being. My homeostasis was probably around like 190 something. And it was kind of a shock. And I thought, you know what? In hindsight, there were a handful of events at the games, the freestanding handstand push-ups, the run and toe to bar, where I just felt, I didn't realize it in the moment, but I fatigued more quickly than I would have liked to. I felt kind of heavy and sluggish. And I thought maybe that was due to carrying around 20 extra pounds that I don't really need. And it wasn't like I was winning any of the weightlifting events either. So kind of a self-experiment to see if slimming down can help with performance across the board and maybe just feeling better in general too.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of weight, I had the opportunity to compete at the Spartan Games this past week, and
Looked awesome.
a lot of the top guys there, I have about 40, 50 pounds on these guys.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to them about their training, they mentioned a lot that they tried not to do too much heavier weights because every pound that they put on their body, that's more weight that they're carrying. And, you know, these are ultra endurance athletes. So every extra pound is going to be a lot more work that they're carrying over the course of, you know, whatever distance that they're running. So
yeah,
it's definitely something that plays a factor for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, but you put in a max snatch and they're not going to hold any water to you or Noah. So,
right.
You know.
Yeah. I think there's a fine line between managing your weight and making sure you're not carrying around unnecessary weight, but also for our sport being thick enough to move the weight that's necessary. You know, there are certain standards now, like you have to be able to deadlift 400 pounds for multiple reps. You have to be able to clean over 300 pounds. And I think if I were to do a ton of endurance work and slim way down, I probably wouldn't be able to handle that stuff to the degree that I needed to.
How's the weight loss been? How's the weight loss been on your lifting, your numbers? Has it suffered because of it, or how's that been?
Yeah, you know, I'm curious to see how that plays out. I haven't really tested any maxes per se recently. I'm actually part of my journey right now is rehabbing a little shoulder injury that I had in the middle of last season. So I've been laying off of snatching. I've done some cleans, but nothing crazy heavy. In order to maintain my strength and make sure it didn't fall off too much during this period of time where I was in a caloric deficit and losing some weight, I've been doing the hatch squat cycle. And so that's my only reference point. Yep. It's 2 days a week. You do like 5 by something back squat, 5 by 5 front squat, linear progression. And I have noticed that some of the weights that last year when I did the same program, I was bouncing out of the bottom easily with have been a grind. And I would maybe attribute it to that, like being down 20 pounds from what I'm used to at the same time as I'm trying to lift heavy. So I don't know. We'll see how it pans out.
it's
Cool.
that fine line that you athletes have to play, because it's like, okay, I drop down to 181 and I lose whatever 10 or 15 pounds off my lifts, but I go to the CrossFit Games and do that running toes to bar workout and end up shaving off whatever 2 minutes from my score, and that dynamic of a jump pays off for losing that 10 or 15 pounds in the strength.
Right.
Really
And
is
it was
like such a dance for you guys to figure out like what your sweet spot is so that you can be so good across the board.
For sure. And it was a very calculated decision too, like looking back at the leaderboard and saying, all right, I'm middle of the pack on some of the weightlifting stuff. That's maybe where I need to be. I don't think I'm ever going to get to the point where I'm winning those events. And I'm in the top on some of the gymnastics stuff, but I know I have the capacity to win some of those events. And the aerobic stuff, like the longer workouts, I was way in the back of the pack. And so looking at all that, I was like, all right, maybe I can slim down. I'll drop a couple spots on the weightlifting stuff, but maybe that'll allow me to win the gymnastics workouts and be somewhere closer to the top on the endurance stuff. So it was all definitely very calculated. And I guess there's only one way to find out if it was a smart decision.
Yep. I mean, that makes a lot of sense in what you're saying. Someone like yourself, you want to be able to double down on those strengths that you have and basically just try to maintain or almost damage control, the areas that maybe you're not as proficient in. So,
Yeah.
because it's all about trying to win some events and get some points, right? The higher that you're up there, the more, forgiving or unforgiving that point spread is.
Yeah,
From
for
first
sure.
to third to fifth. So on
And
and so
that's a
forth.
fine line too, right? If you get yourself to be an expert in any one direction in CrossFit, then something else is probably going to suffer. So it's tricky. It's interesting. We've all been playing the game for years and trying to get it all dialed. Hopefully this is the year that we get the equation right.
Yeah. Speaking of experts, I watch your vlogs and really anything about you all the
appreciate
time.
that.
Huge fan. Told my dad, hey, yo, guess who I'm interviewing today? Noah Ohlsen. He's like, and he's not like really into CrossFit like that, but he knows Noah Ohlsen. He knows Noah. So he's like, wow, Noah Ohlsen. No way. You get to. So
Hold on 1 second.
Oh.
I've lost you guys. My laptop literally just Oh, we're back. Sorry.
Okay,
I don't
we're
know
back.
if you guys have lost me, but
So-
what's up to Pops? Shout out,
what's up
Dad.
Yeah, Diesel, Coach Roscoe over there.
Diesel Daddy.
So experts, following your stuff, you recently said you branched out with getting like some specialist coaches. And
Yes.
I think in your vlog, you're like, I'm going to hold that one close to my chest and maybe not say, too many details I think you had said. But I do want to touch on like, what are the plans for 2022 with those expertise coaches, or what's going to be different this year besides losing a ton of weight? What's going to be different in your approach in 22?
Yeah, I'm happy to share that. And I'll keep it short and sweet just so it's we don't bore people with the details. But
That's what we're here for, Noah. That's what we're here for.
True. The dirty beats. I have so far finished every season and in theory failed to achieve my ultimate goal, right? That's to win the CrossFit Games, to be the fittest man on earth. And so every time that happens, you have to take a step back and figure out like, all right, what do I need, in my mind at least, what do I need to change this year in order to make that happen? If I didn't have, again, we're talking about the equation, if I didn't have it exactly right this season, what do we have to do in the next one to make that difference? And sometimes it's big drastic changes. Like after 2016, I'd had a few successful years at the games, finishing in the top 10. I finished in 15th, and I just felt like, it's time for a major change. And that's when I made the coaching switch over to Max El-Haj with Training Think Tank. It's been a handful of really awesome years since then. I think I don't know exactly, but I finished like 4th, 2nd, 4th, 6th or something like that since I've been with Max. So a handful of my best finishes. But after this year finishing in 10th, when I had the goal of finishing in 1st, it was a little disappointing. And I thought, I need some change. I'm craving it. I want something to sink my teeth into, something to get excited about, thinking that, all right, if I'm doing this different this season, maybe that will be the difference maker in being able to step on the top of the podium. I didn't want to make that shift away from working with Max. I really enjoy our relationship. I think he's an amazing coach, an amazing person. I have shared with him in the recent past that I'd love to close out my career competing with him as my coach still. So we had an open, honest conversation, and I just realized that I said I was keeping it short and sweet, and I am surely not doing that. But
we're here for it. We're here for it.
Yeah. So Max and I had a little breakdown after the games, and I said, are you willing to be humble enough for us to accept some advice and coaching from some experts in some of the separate fields? I want you to stay in the picture. I want you to try to organize these pieces, but I'd like to, number one, reach out to a nutritionist to try to help slim down. I just feel like that's something that would be beneficial to me. Number two, I think that my leaderboard deficits in the aerobic capacity stuff, the run workouts, the long row workouts, we've tried to work on that in the past. We've gotten better here and there. But I think if we were to talk to somebody that can really help us with some of that stuff, that would be awesome to bring in. Hinshaw comes to mind because I've worked with him in the past, way back in the day. He's obviously done some amazing work with some of the top guys and girls in our sport. So Max was open to that, which I was really grateful for, because I think it was an uncomfortable conversation for me. You know, I was coming into that a little timid and nervous, thinking that I would be offending him. And that's totally not the case. I'm not saying that I don't think he's good enough to be my coach in those separate fields, but I just felt like maybe we could both get some help from specialists in those fields.
Yeah, like, to chime in, it's no different than a head football coach. You know, the head football coach isn't going to be an expert with the O-line, the receivers, the cornerbacks. They have quote unquote specialist coaches for all that. But are they still, you know, the ones with their hands on the steering wheel and directing the ship? Yeah, like, they're still the guy. So I think that's a really smart move, and I'm excited to see what that does for you. Do you think going into the 2021 season, you had all those health complications going into the games, you know? And I know you're a guy that doesn't like to make excuses or really let people know maybe how much you were struggling or suffering there. I remember there was one vlog you did your training session and then you went on a walk and you all were like walking away from the gym. And that's kind of when you were talking about your health struggles and kind of letting us in on maybe what was going on. Even though you, quote unquote, recovered before the games, do you really think that you were at 100%, or maybe you weren't at your peak of what you would have liked to have been at, you know, once you were in the midst of that competition?
I can't imagine so, to be honest. Like you said, I don't want to make excuses. You know, you got to show up with whatever you've got going on at the time and make the most of it. There are other guys that have won the games. You know, Frazier has won, and then after the fact said he was dealing with some sort of injury. So I don't think having that stuff going on is an excuse not to be able to perform. But it definitely was not the ideal training year that I was hoping for. Moving up to Georgia, I was hoping I'd be able to be healthy, go all in on training with those guys. And there were a handful of things that made it really, really difficult to focus and stay engaged and stay on track for the specific programming that we were trying to attack that year. Some of those being kidney issues and having to have a surgery. And then I ended up tweaking my shoulder because I think coming off of all the time I had to miss from the kidney issues, I was very, very eager to try to kind of do too much too fast to catch back up. And so I jumped back in, tried to get right back to where I was immediately. It turns out that I had some minor tears in my labrum and my rotator cuff, some other stuff going on in there that I really didn't have the time to address in the middle of the season. It was like a couple weeks before the West Coast Classic. So I had to basically just grit my teeth, or whatever what's the saying for that? Like, I don't know, whatever, you know.
We get it. That's
Just
good.
put your head down and work. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Just deal with it. And I did. And I showed up with that stuff that I had going on, and I tried to make the most of it. And it was the best with what I had, I believe, to be honest, but it wasn't as good as I hoped that it would have been.
Yeah. And that's what I would assume too. And I think that hopefully you can sit back and reflect on that going into 2022 and know that hey, if God willing or lucky enough, you could say that I'm on a healthier streak, this is going to it's going to turn out a lot different than 2021.
Yeah.
Going
So
back to
how are you
football.
doing? Like how is the shoulder going?
Yeah.
Like how's the rehab going for that?
Yeah, it's getting better for sure. That is one of the other specialists that we decided to reach out to this season as part of the plan and the program, because I think being 100% healthy is one of the most important things. I could get fit out of my mind, but if I have a little shoulder tweak that's going to show up every time I have to snatch heavy, then I don't think that's going to be as beneficial as getting that shoulder healthy and then trying to get as fit as I can. So we reached out to Sean Pastuch with Active Life, who I think you guys are familiar with.
Yep.
And I'm working with one of their coaches. He's helping me do some of the rehab stuff for my shoulder. So far, so good. We're only a few weeks in, but I'm very hopeful there. And Joe, to speak to what you were saying, it is tough. The belief factor to come out of the games and finish in 10th. There's one side of me that ignores everything else and just sees the leaderboard. And it's like, man, you're slipping. You don't have it anymore. Are you sure you want to invest all of this time and energy into chasing something that you're so far off from? And maybe it's time to give it up. And that's the internal dialogue that kind of wants to creep its way to the forefront of my mind. But then the logical side has to take over and say, well, you weren't totally healthy last year. There were these other factors, and try to convince myself that I still believe that I still can accomplish the goal that I set out to a decade ago. So that battle happens with all of us, whether people talk about it often or not. At least I believe, and I would be honest with that with myself. So I'm hoping that the belief comes back slowly as I start to get healthier and healthier, and we'll see how the 2022 season goes.
Yeah, I wanted to bring back in the football comparison again, because it's just the CrossFit way. And I think it's just due to the sport being so young that athletes like yourself, they don't want to seem like they're making excuses, or there is no media representative for the athlete. Like there is like a pro team that could, let's say, for instance, put out an injury report, like you guys would be forced to say it yourself, and no one wants to do that. But, when you're watching, I'm a Browns guy from Cleveland. If you're watching the Browns, you know that Odell Beckham's playing on a bum knee. But if he has a huge game, you're like, oh, that was freaking amazing. He's got a bum knee and he still did that.
Yeah.
Oh, Noah Ohlsen, if we had an injury report for all the athletes, he's got a labrum thing. He had a kidney thing. He just freaking finished top 10 at the games. That's freaking amazing. I think that later down the road, hopefully in the progression of the sport of CrossFit, there could be stuff like that released, because it does bring a whole other element to it, other than just saying like, oh, just freaking tough it out and don't make excuses. Like it's a sport, and injuries are happening, and people are on bum wheels and so on and so forth. So, as a fan,
it kind of gives context to the story,
Yeah,
it adds
absolutely.
like another layer to it for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. With that.
So I'm glad you're getting that all taken care of, and wishing you a super healthy preparation for 2022.
Much appreciated.
Let's get into real quick, Max the dog. When did you get Max the dog?
My guy.
Just give us we'll have a little 2 to 3 minute segment dedicated to Max, because I feel like let's get a close up of that there.
There he
over
is.
Here.
He's slumped up right now.
He's napping. He must have had a tough training session this morning. Was he swimming with you?
He sure did. No, he wasn't. Soon enough, that's one of the things that we're doing to invest in the house, is a little pool in the backyard, which he's going to freak out about. But Max is my best buddy in the world, as anybody that follows me on any social media knows already. He's going to be 8 years old at the end of November. November 28th is the B-Day. And he's awesome, man. He's just, like you guys can see, he's sitting right over my shoulder here. He's my companion. He's been with me every step of the way since we got him as a puppy. And he just brings me a lot of joy. I can imagine, Chris, Joe, I don't know if you have any kids. I know you have dogs. Chris, I know you have dogs and kids. But there's just this element of pure joy and love and happiness that having him in my life brings to me, that without him, I don't think I would have. And I can't imagine like that part of me being empty. So I'm just really appreciative that I've got something like him in my life.
Absolutely, man. Wait till you have kids.
I can only imagine.
Depending on the dog, I say that like every morning is Christmas morning, you know, like the excitement they have.
Yeah.
And, you know, you wake up and like the day is starting and they're just going nuts.
Yeah.
Speaking, are you always going to be a dog dad, or do you have over at the Ohlsen house some plans for having some kids anytime soon?
Yeah, we're definitely going to go the kiddo route. Joanne and I have been together for a little bit longer than we've had Max, actually. So coming on 9 years of being together, we're finally going to tie the knot. I think beginning of 2023 is what we're planning for. And then shortly after that, we would love to have some kids, grow the Ohlsen family a little bit.
Congratulations.
Right.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. A big step, man.
Yeah. We're looking forward to it big time. We're definitely family people. Joanne's an awesome lady in general, and she's going to be an amazing mom. So can't wait.
Got you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What was I going to say? You guys were saying, or Joe, you were saying that it's really exciting, like Christmas morning, and your dog gets excited every time they see you. That like every time we're pulling into the driveway, I get a little bit excited because I know how excited Max is going to get to see us. And that clicked with me one day when I got home and he was just going nuts. And it felt so good to be greeted like that. Like, man, there's somebody that cares about me that much. And I said, I'm going to do a little experiment, and I'm going to try to bring that same enthusiasm to Joanne every time she gets home. I'm not going to wag my tail and lick her face, but I'm going to try to greet her with like, babe, you're home. Whether it's been 5 minutes or 2 weeks, you know, I think that's one of the things that I love about Max is that unconditional love and enthusiasm. So I've tried to learn a couple things from him along the way.
Got you.
I love that.
So,
I think I might try that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, get some brownie points over there, Christian. Get Danielle get some brownie points there. Noah, you're such a nice guy, right? And that's I think a reason that I'm a fan, and you have so many fans, that you're just a genuinely seeming, you know, I've never met you, but you're the kind of guy that I talk about that says he doesn't seem like he's putting it on. You know, some people, you can tell they're being political and just putting it on, and they probably are trash in real life, but you seem like a really good guy. I bring all that up, not just to flatter you or to give you compliments, but I bring that up as with you as a competitor. Do you think that that's a negative? Do you lack a killer instinct? Do you not tell us that maybe on the competition floor you're saying like, oh, I'm going to F this guy up? Do you get mean inside your head, or are you just always nice?
Man, it's funny that you mentioned that. I've had a couple conversations like that over the years. One, the most recently, was with the lady champ, Miss Tia Claire Toomey. For the last like 3 years, Tia and I are super friendly. And every time I see her, she always tries to convince me to just be a savage. And she really is, man. I had one conversation with her this year that I won't give the specific phrases that she used, but she said some gnarly stuff about her competitors and like the way she feels about them on the competition floor that like gave me goosebumps. And I was thinking, man, I don't know. It's just, that's never really been part of the way that I play. It obviously works really well for her to go out there and rip people's throats out. Like that just gets her fired up. And so maybe being able to tap into that would be helpful. And I have experimented with it a little bit. I find personally that if I go into things with that heat and that emotion and that like anger and negative energy, if it works really well. But if it starts to not work because it's so extreme, it can spiral really quickly. I remember at regionals going out onto the floor, like you're in the corral right in the back. It almost feels like a little cage. It's these metal
you're like the gladiators back there.
Yeah, exactly. Little barricades that are metal, and everybody's lined up side by side. And I feel like a bull, you know, before they go out onto the floor, just like seeing red. And I used to take the floor like that, like really angry, like hyperventilating. And there were a couple of times where I wasn't able to control my emotion when I got a no rep from a judge, or I failed a rep. And the happy but hungry mantra kind of came to life when Max El-Haj and I were first starting to work together. Long story short, he was basically thinking that I might need to tap into some of that anger as well. And I said, I just don't think that's me. I've tried it. It doesn't really work. I'm a really happy-go-lucky guy. I love my life. I enjoy what I'm doing. And I think that tends to play in my favor a little bit more. The times that I took the floor, being really grateful and excited about the opportunity that I had to go perform in front of all these people, that's when things tended to just like snowball effect in a positive way. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. To answer your question, I'm not really sure. I've had some success with the happy but hungry thing. I've had some success with the kind of getting angry and going out there to stomp on people thing. And I guess it
might be something that you kind of need to throw into your training. Like, it's always harder to do something out in competition and like introduce it there. But if you practice it a little bit, I mean, I think it's something that could definitely benefit you, or you could even use that as a tool for certain types of events.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's like something short and fast, kind of get into that mindset of that. One of my son's friend's parents, he's the soccer coach, and he's from where the hell is he from? He's a South African Jew, right? And he played soccer semi-professionally, and he would tell me stories about him as a player. No one liked him as a player, but off the field, like, he is the sweetest guy that you would ever meet. Animal lover and just the sweetest guy. But on the field, during practice, during games, like, they absolutely hated him. So I
get that.
Something that you could try to do for sure.
Yeah, I think that's totally possible.
Maybe instead of being a gentleman, you can be a gentle savage and be out on that floor saying, all are welcome to compete alongside of me, but get in my way and I'm going to karate chop you in the throat.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Man, it's been an interesting balance between cultivating, like, being the nice guy, which is something that feels natural and feels good to me, and just kind of like spreading good vibes. That's become part of my mission. I think at first it was like my why is just to win because I want to be a champion. And then slowly it turned into, well, I think I can influence people in a really positive way to be happy, to love what they're doing, to be grateful and kind. And it can be tough at times to balance that and being a cutthroat competitor. But hopefully I can find the right balance.
Yeah, I see that from you, like on the behind the scenes stuff at the games or competitions, where whether it's a volunteer or someone behind the scenes, like, you always give them the time of day. You always say hello, you give them a moment, and that's great. But it probably does wear on you after a while, like energy wise. So sounds like finding that happy medium. But I do love that whole thing about your why and making it more about just winning. I think down the road, a person could appreciate that a lot more than just collecting hardware,
Yeah, I think so. I've gotten a fair bit of hardware along the way, even though it hasn't been the games gold medal yet. And those are not as special without connection and meaning and stuff behind them.
Mm-hmm. What keeps you going in your training besides the gold medal? What do you like training? What is it about showing up every day and pouring your guts out on the training floor that keeps you coming back each day?
Don't get me wrong. I love winning. I'm a competitor. I've been playing sports my whole life, and I love to dominate and to win and to just crush people on workouts. That feels really good. So that's a rewarding piece of training hard, is being able to go out and execute on stuff like that. But I think that for me, something that has made the journey and process sustainable, I've been at the CrossFit Games. This is going to be my 9th season consecutively. And I think that enjoying the ride has enabled me to continue to do it the whole time. So when I go into the gym, I'm not going in to the corner and putting on headphones and like grinding until I can't breathe anymore. I'm going into the gym and I'm interacting with friends and training partners and really trying to squeeze in as many moments of fun and enjoyment as I can alongside working really hard. That was kind of a little catchphrase that I was starting to develop, was work hard and have fun, because I feel like the two of those in combination for me is when I feel like I'm the most successful and the most fulfilled. Without one or the other, that just is too far out of whack. If I'm working way too hard and I'm not having fun, it's not going to last long. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm going to want to quit. I'm going to burn out. If I'm having too much fun and I'm not working hard, then I'm not going to be successful in my sport. So finding the balance there has been really helpful and kind of keeps me going.
Yeah, OG Jason Khalipa said that one time in an interview, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, just about if you're that guy in your basement with your hood up and your hardcore music playing and just destroying yourself every day and having no fun, maybe you're going to be good for 1 year, but you're never going to last mentally. You're going to drop off. Speaking of having fun, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I mean, there's something to be said. It's everybody always breaks the mold, right? And when you say training in your basement, I automatically think of Matt Frazier, and he did a pretty damn good job of grinding on his own and being very successful for a long period of time. So
yeah, I guess
there's always one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, like, yeah, he was the needle in the haystack, I guess. But speaking of having fun too, I saw in your vlog you box jumping over like a bar at the gym. Yeah, that was you had me holding my breath on that one. It's
I actually don't even think it was that impressive. It was maybe like 48 inches high, which it takes enough hops to get over it. Chris could probably do it in his sleep, but I'm a short little white boy over here. And so I was nervous because it wasn't like a hurdle that if you catch it with your foot, it breaks and you're fine. It was like, if you catch your toe on that thing, you're taking a hard spill over the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
But I bring it up not to, harp on it and say like, yo, play it smart, Noah. Don't be doing anything silly over there. But I brought it up because you seem like you're just having a genuinely good time with your boys. And that seems like the fun part that you're talking about, that, you have your training partners and you're just, every day is like a day to hang out. Yeah, you're fitnessing, but you're just enjoying the company around you. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, I posted a little quote the other day and it kind of hit me in the moment. The famous quote is, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Yeah. And I thought, well, what if you want to do both, right? Like, what if you want to go fast and far? And I think it's go together with fast people, right? Like the combination of that is work out and train with people that are really, really good. That way you're getting pushed and gonna be able to take it to the next level, but you're also doing it with community and having a good time and supporting each other along the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that is very, it's not spoken about enough, is the impact of training with other people that are like-minded, that bring good energy. Like all of that stuff really plays a factor into having great sessions and being able to, maintain that longevity of having, success in the sport. So
for sure.
Something is definitely to be said there. Train with like-minded people. It's going to, one, push you, it's going to keep you accountable. But if they're people that you vibe with, I mean, you're definitely going to have some fun along the way. So,
yeah.
I got a question for both of you guys. And it's in the same topic. So you have Noah, you have Travis Mayer when you are up there in Georgia training. You have your guys with you in Florida, Christian. You have people popping in and out of the gym on Long Island. Some athletes, and you have these athlete camps of other training programs. Some athletes say they don't really like training with others because of the mental fatigue of not being able to like put their competitiveness aside, where like the entire time they're dwelling on, oh, they beat me or I beat them or what's tomorrow and yada, yada. How do you guys balance that where it does work in your favor, but the competitor in you isn't like grinding the wheels away because you're so concerned about winning, you know?
Yeah. Chris, you hit that first and then I'll jump in.
Yeah. So being a team athlete
Are my
for the
guys
past
frozen?
couple of years,
There we go.
what's that? So being a team athlete
Christian,
for
go
the
ahead,
past
start
couple of years,
again. We just broke up a little bit.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
So being a team athlete for the past few years, I've been able to find actually a really nice balance of that because during the week, I'm typically training either by myself or I have company in the gym, whether that's with Deb or someone else that's just kind of popping into the session. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, having my teammates there pushing me along the way, you know, getting me a little bit more uncomfortable than I typically would be, it definitely helps in that regard as well. So I don't know. I don't know if every day would be healthy for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely think it's needed for sure. Like you training with other people is definitely going to make you better. I mean, even Frazier with Tia, like you could use that all day as an example. I think people need other people to, you know, feed off of and push themselves to levels that they thought weren't possible.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think finding the right balance is important. If you were competing in a win-lose scenario every single day, it would not only get physically exhausting, but also mentally and emotionally pretty draining too. So I think the way that we had it structured up at Training Think Tank when I spent 6 months there last season, it wasn't every session, every workout being done as somebody's winning, somebody's losing. It was some group work that was based off percentages. There were definitely Metcons where it was a head-to-head for time thing, and that's when we brought the heat. But a lot of the other sessions, I would say it was probably like 70-30. 70% of the work was done in kind of like an interval team, you go, I go style format that kept it non-competitive, but you're still getting that push from a person that's working hard. And then 30% of the time it was, all right, you're trying to beat the guy that you're working out next to.
Yeah, and that sounds exactly like the balance that I'm thinking in my head, about
Pretty much.
70-30, 25-75, something like that. Yeah.
There was a period of time a few years ago, an athlete, Marcelo Bruno, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him or remember him, from Chile, came down to Miami and he trained here for a month.
You have a big beard?
Yes, jacked out of his mind.
Yeah.
He was at peak training for about a month, and we didn't think about that balance ahead of time, and we just got after it, competed head-to-head every day for about 2 weeks, and then we both broke, and it was like, all right, we have to figure something else out because this like neck and neck thing this often is not sustainable.
Yeah. I'm not on the level of you guys, but when I was in New York City, I had some training buddies that we were all pretty close, like skill wise and ability. And yeah, it's a lot. It gets to be a lot.
For sure.
So you being down in Miami, are you doing Waterpalooza? Sorry for not knowing that.
Yeah, no worries. I am planning on doing Waterpalooza actually on team. I think that kind of in line with everything that we're seeing, being able to do things with people and having a little bit of fun during a period of time where my focus is building that aerobic capacity, rehabbing my shoulder, all that. It didn't really make sense timing wise for me to compete individually. It would be a little rushed to be like peaked and ready for that. So we felt like with the team, there was a little bit less pressure. Do you guys want to hear who the teammates may be, or should we keep it a secret?
No, we want to know. We want to drop it here.
People want to know, man.
People want to know.
If you had to guess, who would be your dream team to see?
Wait, is this the world premiere? Is this the first time you're saying this in public to anyone?
It might be. I don't know if I've like announced it anywhere. I think some insiders may know, and it's not that big of a deal. We're probably hyping it up, but who do you?
All right.
Well,
guess? Christian, do you want to guess first? So it's two other guys. It's a team of three guys.
Don't guess who you think it would be. Who would you want it to be? If you could pick like dream team, Noah plus him and him, who would it? Who does that look like for you?
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I'm just
Joe, you go
curious.
first.
I'm just
Joe, you go
curious.
first.
Oh, come on. Come on.
No pressure.
I'm gonna say let's put you with Panchek, the little brother, and Tola. So we got this big ass bro that's real strong. We got you that's like the hybrid, good at pretty much everything. And then Spencer's his name, right? The kid, the younger
There's
one that
either
qualified.
Saxon is the one. Saxon has been at the games the last couple of years.
Saxon, right? Saxon.
Yep.
Saxon's he's strong, as he's crazy strong, but he also has
He's
that
crazy strong, bro.
I know.
He is for sure. All those boys.
I used to have a gym in Ohio, and him and his brother came and competed, and he was just like casually snatching 295. And at my gym, no one sees anyone snatch over 200. So he's doing this, and everyone's like everyone's tongues are on the floor. Like, what's this kid doing? All right, those are my guesses. Christian, what's yours?
I'm gonna say,
if it helps you, Chris, neither of those are actually gonna.
I'm gonna say, who do I think? Let's go with I don't know, man.
Okay, I'll just tell you.
I was gonna say Travis Mayer and maybe like Chandler.
Boom! You literally nailed it.
All right,
That's
both
it?
of them.
Yep. Travis,
Okay.
Chandler, and myself. That's the plan as of right now.
You threw me off and said, don't guess who you would think, but guess who you would want.
Right.
I would have said Travis right out of the gate because of you all being under the same program. But yeah, and I forgot that you and Chandler are close buddies. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That was.
I think that'll be a lot of fun. Travis and I have gotten to compete together in the past. We won the team series, which was kind of like a low-key CrossFit sponsored team thing. I think 2 or 3 years in a row back in the day. And then Chandler and I have always wanted to, but never had the opportunity to team up. So it may be coming this January to a theater near you.
All right, cool. Christian,
right.
we gotta let Noah. We gotta let Noah go before you put him on the hot seat. Is there any other topics of conversation you want to cover with him?
Open book, man. Whatever you guys got for me.
I think it's time. Hot seat.
All right, hot seat.
Light me up.
All right, sir. A couple questions. First thing that comes to mind, short answer form works the best. Would you rather move fast or lift heavy?
It used to be lift heavy, but I think as I'm getting older and whenever I retire from the sport, it would be move fast.
Yeah. Coffee or pre-workout?
Dang. Coffee.
All right. Current favorite sneaker? Could be anything. Doesn't have to be a workout shoe.
Yeah, what is my current favorite sneaker? I wish I had an answer off the top of my head. I've got some cool ones. What did I just get that I'm pumped about? Ooh, I got the off-white Dunks. I haven't broken them out yet, but they're Joanne's new favorite. They're like lilac purple with a little string across the top.
Fire. Favorite brunch food?
Favorite brunch food. I love a good skillet, like some house potatoes, peppers, onions, eggs, avocado.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one exercise to do for the rest of your life, what would it be?
This has come up a lot recently. Pick your one that you couldn't live without. My go-to is always a thruster, just because it's such a full body, all-encompassing movement.
Yeah, it's always a good one.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of what your current playlist looks like.
Always hip-hop. A lot of Certified Lover Boy. The last week, that started to fade a little bit. CLB. I'm a big Drake guy.
Yeah,
Drake, J. Cole. Chandler was trying to put me on and Bijan to, what's this new guy's name? Isaiah something, maybe? Are you familiar with Isaiah Rashad? They say he's like the next guy. He just dropped an album called The House is Burning. Chandler said it's his favorite album of 2021.
He's got bars?
Apparently.
All right. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah,
Isaiah something?
Isaiah Rashad.
Let me pull it up.
And Andy Mineo. That's my dude.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah.
Just to remind everyone that's been listening to the podcast week in and week out, Christian Harris does have a hip hop background as a recorded artist. So Noah, if you ever want to put Christian on the spot, speaking of spitting some bars, just
freestyle right now.
Right now.
Don't do that to me.
Oh.
No, you don't have to do that. I mean,
Noah
you want
on the beatbox. Let's go.
Not today.
All right, all good. Understandable. I know
that
how
much pressure that is. Second.
Yeah. Next time.
All right. Well,
so Noah, thank you for your time, bro. I appreciate you.
My absolute pleasure. That was fun chatting with you guys. Appreciate you. Quick shout out. I don't know if this is a thing, but
do it
because she's the love of my life and she's sitting right back there. Tomorrow is Joanne's 29th birthday. Woo!
Hey, let's go. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
you.
JoJo. Oh, they're singing to you. Let me unplug my headphones.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yeah. And actually, another plug, if I may. Joanne said that for her birthday this year, rather than any gifts, she wanted friends to donate diapers that she could bring to the Miami Diaper Bank for underprivileged families in need. And I posted a little link to it yesterday. I'll post another one. But if you guys want to wish Joanne a happy birthday and buy a box of diapers for $20 to send to the Miami Diaper Bank, that would mean a lot to us and to the families that need them.
All right, cool.
Send us the link, Joe. Throw it in the comments there.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll put it in the comments of this. I'll put it in the description of the podcast episode for anyone listening on Apple or Spotify or anything like that. We'll post it to the gram, all that stuff. So
beautiful.
Yes,
I'll get all that info from you. I'll shoot you an email about it. So, all right, my Miami brother. Hopefully, I'll see you at Waterpalooza. And wish you the best. Rooting for you here. Thanks again.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, bro. Good luck this season.
Thanks, brother.
All right, there was Christian Harris. That was Noah Ohlsen in the flesh. Another good one.
Yes, sir. Let's see what we got this season. We're rooting for him.
Dog lover, good guy. Now I live, about 20 minutes away from him. So he's like a local dude for me now. So let's go Noah Ohlsen.
Coffee and donuts, bro.
Hey, you better watch out. I'll bring him some coffee and donuts. You better watch out. You got your team from Waterpalooza too. That's a good team he's got there. That's a good team.
It is. I'm going to have to see what we got out there.
Why don't, during the warm-up area, why don't you go over and whisper some trash talk? See if we can get that angry side of him to come out a little bit more.
We'll get it out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, your Gymshark shoes look real cute, bro. About to just leave you in the dust with those things.
Where'd you get those clothes? From the toilet store?
There we go. All right, man. Until next time, pleasure.
Later.
All right, that'll do it. Episode number, I think, 22 with the Noah Ohlsen. Wow, super fun, awesome conversation. He beatboxed. We talked about the dog. We talked about kids in the future. We talked about getting a little nastier. I'm going to put in some timestamps in the description of the episode so you can kind of rewind to your favorite parts if you listen to the whole thing and want to check it out again. But until next time, Joe Roscoe here. Move fast, lift heavy. Later.
My name is Christian Harris. I'm a CrossFit athlete, coach, trainer, and founder of Move Fast Lift Heavy. MFLH has always been more than just apparel. It's a way to train, it's a lifestyle to live, and now we've leveled up that mantra by creating our online training platform. Move Fast Lift Heavy now provides personal online programming. The programming can be done either in a gym with a garage gym setup, or even from the comfort of your own home with a dumbbell or even at body weight. This isn't just your typical workout blog. You'll have unlimited access to our coaching staff to ask questions and submit technique videos. MFLH has always been more than just an apparel line. Now you can be a part of the team. Click the link to get started. Let's get to work.